Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. I hope that you're having a stunning morning, a wonderful afternoon, and a beautiful evening. Today we are doing a full album reaction. Our Mother the Mountain, Townes Van Zandt's second studio album released in 1969. A lot of you had suggested listening to Mr. Van Zandt, and I've never listened to him, so I figured today was a good day to go ahead and investigate, to go ahead and listen, and to familiarize ourselves with him and his music. Some of you that had at least mentioned Townes, Bob Holtzman, Lawrence Simon, Gory Norred, Lauren Gaudette, James Paiva, Kaz Gerald, Stacy, Max Hammer, Martin Patterson, Rick in Texas, I believe that's what it means, Edward Sigahomoni, Edward, Mega Freddy, and the list goes on from there. So thank you all so much for the suggestion in listening to Mr. Van Zandt's music. I'm really excited to listen to this one. How I came to this specific album, I think I was just looking up on RYM at different albums from him, and so this one came highly recommended and was highly rated. And there were a lot of different suggestions for different tracks from Mr. Van Zandt, but nothing specifically in the way of albums. I did see that the track Tecumseh Valley was one that had been recommended quite a bit in the comments. I see the track Be Here to Love Me, the first one, had been suggested a few times. So a lot of the tracks on this album had been suggested individually by you guys in the comments. So that's why I was like, okay, well, all these things seem to be lining up to. Let's just go ahead and check out the album here. So that's exactly what we're going to do here today. If you hear a slight humming in the background, which I'm hoping the mic is not picking up, but you might hear a slight humming, it's because I have a heater, like a little portable heater, in the far corner of the room. Just trying to heat up the room a little bit because this room always gets really cold. Hence also the sweater that I'm wearing right now as well. So that is it, guys. I hope that you guys are doing really well. Hope you're looking forward to listening to the album alongside with me. I'm excited to dive into this one just to see, for lack of a better phrase, what all the fuss is about. But in the nicest of ways, you know, in the most positive ways. Of course, to get the plugs out the way, the Buy Me a Coffee is there if you'd like to sponsor a song request or even an album request. You can do so over there. Patreon's available for exclusive content. And right here on YouTube, you just press that like button. It goes a great deal and a long way. Matter of fact, it's a little hot now. The heater works quite well, I gotta admit. Let me turn that down just a little bit. You probably heard that beep. All right. Let's go ahead and get into it, of course. With the first track, we'll begin, Be Here to Love Me. And as always, this sip of just cool filtered water is to you. Gotta do it with this hand. There we go.
Your eyes seek conclusion in all this confusion of mine. Though you and I both know it's only the warm glow of wine that's got you to feeling this way. But I don't care, I want you to stay and hold me and tell me you'll be here to love me today. The children are dancing, the gamblers are chancing their all. The windows accusing the door of abusing the wall.
It's a good line.
But who cares what the night watchmen say? The stage has been set for the play. So just hold me and tell me you'll be here to love me today. Come and gone, but a few stars hang on to the sky. Where the wind's running free, up to me to ask why. But the poets are demanding their pay, and they've left me with nothing to say, except hold me and tell me you'll be here to love me today. Just hold me and tell me you'll be here to love me today.
It's a soft, nicely strummed, romantic country song with a nice little flutes kind of singing there like a little canary on this side. I like that. The flute was like a nice little extra to the track. Small as it is, it makes a nice little difference in there. His voice is rich and warm, like a I don't know, choose your spirit of choice, like a warm whiskey that just goes down easy. I like that a lot. He swoons. He kind of brings you in as he sings. And it's just very easy to listen to his voice here. Are we to assume that he's also playing guitar? I'm pulling up the personnel list, of which there is a lot of people playing on here. He is also playing guitar. There's a lot of musicians here. Flutes by Jules Jacob as well. And I think that this was a nice, relatively simple opening into the album. A nice entry point, Nothing overly complicated, nothing like that. No, just let it wash over you and make you feel good as it goes. Even lyrics are poetic and yet relatively straightforward in the way that they're sung. Your eyes see conclusion in all this confusion of mine, like looking for the end. What's the answer? Though you and I both know it's only the warm glow of wine that's got you feeling this way. But I don't care. I want you to stay and hold me and tell me you'll be here to love me today. Even if it's just the wine that's, making us connect, I still can't deny that connecting we are. The children are dancing, the gamblers are chancing their all, the windows accusing the door of abusing the wall. Love that line. But who cares what the night watchmen say? The stage has been set for the play. So just hold me and tell me you'll be here to love me today. Just at least for the moment, at least for today. The moon's come and gone, but a few stars hang on to the sky. I like, to the sky. You got that very country drawl in here as well. While the wind's running free, though it ain't up to me to ask why. But the poets are demanding their pay, and they've left me with nothing to say. Except hold me and tell me you'll be here to love me today. And of course, he just reiterates that point there. Let's move on into the next track here, which is going to be Kathleen.
It's plain to see the sun won't shine today.
Look how sparse this is.
But I ain't in the mood for sunshine anyway. Maybe I'll go insane. I got to stop the pain. Or maybe I'll go down and see Kathleen.
Okay.
A swallow comes and tells me of her dreams. She says she'd like to know just what they mean. And I feel like I could die as I watch her flying by.
It's kind of Scott Walker-esque.
Ride the north wind down to see Kathleen. The stars hang high above the ocean's roar. The moon has come to lead me to her door. There's crystal across the sand, and the they take my hand. Soon I'm gonna see my sweet Kathleen. Soon I'm gonna see my sweet Kathleen.
Okay, we're getting a completely different side in the second track already. Second track, Kathleen is really kind of hitting a Scott Walker kind of sound to me. A little bit of Scott 3 and just the ambience of it all. There's a lot of deep space happening here. And I love all the silence that's used. There's a slight echo on his voice as well, which makes it sound like he's singing in an empty room, an empty hall of sorts. And I like how that little bit of echo just kind of permeates through the music and through those spaces here. The orchestral sections and those strings that come up are a little tense, bearing definitely loads of stress in them as they kind of creak and like quietly yell out in the distance here. The way they rise up is really sharp, is really lovely as well. The bass kind of carries this slightly morose tone as it kind of funeral dirge kind of carries us through. Like there's a deep sadness in this one. But man, is the music so deep. You can really hear all the different separations of instruments, but they come together in this wonderful, to me, kind of funeral parade, because it's a little kind of procession of a track. And his singing is a lot more stately, a little bit more to himself, although he's singing, of course, too, and about Kathleen. But there's something very deep about his singing here, which for someone like me who, you know, favorite artist of all time is Dave Sylvian. I love Scott Walker. I love those deeper, rich voices. And so a track like this is absolutely hitting a really, really wonderful spot. This is a really good track. I really enjoy just how he sounds in here. It's plain to see the sun won't shine today, but I ain't in the mood for sunshine anyway. Maybe I'll go insane. I gotta stop the pain. Or maybe I'll go down to see Kathleen. A swallow comes and tell me of her dreams. She says she'd like to know just what they mean. I feel like I could die as I watch her flying by, ride the north wind down to see Kathleen. The stars hang high above the ocean's roar. The moon has come to lead me to her door. There's crystal across the sand in the waves they take my hand. Soon I'm going to see my sweet Kathleen. He's going to the ocean here. I don't know why. Maybe it's because of the mood of the music and, to me, the slight obscurity of the lyrics here, in which I don't think it's all that it seems. I feel like he's like Kathleen is dead, and he's going to see her and join her in a sense. I'm kind of getting a little bit of that feeling. I could, of course, be wrong, but I don't know if I am. Is it my heater making that noise? I'm sorry. I'm trying to make it not loud. That didn't help. Let me turn it off here. Okay. I don't know if that noise is coming through the microphone. Let me let's see. No Wikipedia article on this one. Any information on here, Kathleen? Let's read a little bit here. Choose Jacob. Bergen white shivering strings accent the atmospheres in the autumnal and wintry desolation of the songs Kathleen and others. Let's click the annotations. The narrator waits until the ocean to drown himself. There you go. Expecting to be reunited with Kathleen in death. It's kind of like in I want to say it's the 90s version of the Odyssey. Remember the TV series? And it's not God. What's Odysseus' wife's name? It's her handmaiden or her servant or whatever that goes and drowns herself in the water. No, her mother. That's who it was. It was her mother who drowned herself in the water because she couldn't bear to wait. And then Odysseus finds her in the afterlife there. The Odyssey, not the upcoming trailer. No. Drowns. I'm trying to see if I can find that scene. Nah, I can't find that scene. I find Killing the Suitors. Man, it's such a good movie. The whole thing's on YouTube too. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm getting distracted. Let's go ahead and listen to the next track here. She Came and She Touched Me.
She came and she touched me with hands made of heaven, reflections since spinning through a face laced in mist.
Nice swing.
Now I stand where she left me, buried deep beneath her shadow, and the mirror pleads sadly, has it all come to this? And I wonder, will she call my name? Where the wind careens madly through wide windows, painless fragrances mingle in a room full of shade. The peons pick partners and waltz across the ceilings, but the violins whisper that I've been betrayed. Trying not to look ashamed, where the drunkards drink deeply from cups full of nothingness. Ghost lovers laugh at the games that they play.
Love how these lines resolve.
While the moments do somersaults into eternity, cling to their coattails and beg them to stay, saying, I got nothing to hide. Well, illusions projected on walls made of Tiffany mad minuets to a sad satin song.
Such a dancey waltz kind of song.
Harlequin mandolins harmonize helplessly, hoping that endlessly won't last for long. Praying that their God ain't died.
Stronger,
Then I turn and I see her in a dress made of moonlight. Teardrops like diamonds run slow down her face, and her arms, they surround me like chains made of velvet, and the demons fall faithfully into their place. And the river runs with jewels. Now the morning lies open, the night went quite quickly. Memory harmlessly fractures and fades.
I love how it keeps that same.
All the poets do
wave.
push-ups on carpets of rubber foam. Loudly they laugh at some joke that's been made. And the wise men speak like fools.
I love the waltzy time that this track keeps in its rhythm, because to me that rhythm automatically kind of pulls you into a certain swing of things, a certain sway, da da, ba 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 ba. Right? It kind of already gives you a little bit of an elegance, a sort of dancing kind of movements as well, in a little bit more of a graceful way. And I think that he uses this kind of rhythm really smartly. You know, the repetitive nature of the music in this track kind of, in a way, hypnotizes you and just kind of lulls you into this wonderful swing that you just move along with. It's like when you're walking with the breeze, right? It just pushes you along. You're not forcing it against it or anything like that. You're just walking with the breeze, walking with the gust of wind, and it pushes you. It motivates you in a certain way. And I think it works it's well, or just as well here. And the way that he sings in his delivery and kind of the almost almost off the cuff, stream of conscious way that he's singing and delivering the music here in this kind of sense works really well as well. Because it's like he's telling this story, he's just kind of rattling it off the mind, and it works really well in the sway and the swing of things here. I like the guitars and everything. I want to say there's at least like 2 guitars, but there could be 100% more. And there may be some other string instruments because on the album and on the personnel, there's a lot of different guitars. There's dobro, so there's like a lot of different sounds that are at least on the album. And while you can tell that this track is definitely layered, I think it's done so more on a subtle kind of aspect, more so than overt and kind of in your face. But I really like the kind of quiet, to me, hypnotic nature of this track. And I mean, to me, you just kind of get settled into this swing. And can I tell you, ever since I turned the fan off, it's getting cold in here again. There may come a point I have to turn it back on. Let's look at these lyrics. And maybe even kind of going into the song title, She Came and Touched Me. Maybe he felt, in a sense, under a spell from her, like under this infatuation in love, from her, that he feels like this. He feels like he's just hypnotized and just going along with the movements of everything. She came and she touched me with hands made of heaven, reflections sent spinning through a face laced in mist. Now I stand where she left me, buried deep neath her shadow, and the mirror pleads sadly, has it all come to this? And I wonder, will she call my name? Where the wind careens madly through the wide windows, painless. Oh, I like the kind of double entendre there. Fragrances mingle in a room full of shade. The peons pick partners and waltz across the ceilings, but the violins whisper that I've been betrayed, trying not to look ashamed. I love that. The violins are heralding that maybe you've been betrayed. Maybe it's not all as it seems. Maybe she won't call your name. While the drunkards drink deeply from cups full of nothingness, ghost lovers laugh at the games that they play, while the moments do somersaults into eternity, cling to their coattails and beg them to stay. And that's kind of what he's doing. He's begging this moment to stay. He's begging this person to stay, saying, I got nothing to hide. While illusions projected on walls made of Tiffany had minuets to a sad satin song. Harlequin mandolins harmonize helplessly, hoping that endlessly won't last for long, praying that their God ain't dying. Can I tell you, especially in this song, I'm noticing incredibly strong writing when it comes to his actual prose and meter, alliteration, internal rhymes and such. Just a really, really fantastic writing and written schemes here. Then I turn and I see her in a dress made of moonlight. Teardrops like diamonds run slow down her face. And her arms, they surround me like chains made of velvet. And the demons fall faithfully into their place. And the river runs with jewels. I love, run the jewels. I love these lines here. Her arms surround me like chains made of velvet. Chains, not necessarily a positive connotation. You're imprisoned. You're locked up. You can't move. You're stuck. And so he is stuck, but in chains made of velvet, something soft, something kind of loving, So he wants to be here. She's holding him in her grasp, so to speak, but it's in a comforting kind of way. And then the lines, the demons fall faithfully into their place. Demons, not usually a positive connotation. And he says they fall faithfully into their place. They go where they need to be. And so perhaps he feels that, in a sense, he's being bedeviled. He's maybe it's, what's the word? Maybe this is a bittersweet kind of embrace from her. Now the morning lies open, the night went quite quickly. Memory harmlessly fractures and fades. All the poets do push-ups on carpets of rubber foam. Loudly they laugh at some joke that's been made. And the wise men speak like fools. Is this how he's feeling the morning after? Perhaps. Seems so to me. I'm going to turn the heater back on while we listen to the next track, because maybe I think the music will at least bury the sound of it. Like a Summer Thursday.
Her face was crystal, fair and fine. her breath was morning, and her lips were wine.
That's a good line.
And her eyes were laughter, and her touch divine. And her face was crystal, and she was mine.
Listen to the engagement of strings happening behind this harmonica. So at least two.
If only she could feel my pain, but feeling is a burden she can't sustain. So like a summer Thursday, I cry for rain to come and turn the ground to green again. If only she could hear my songs about the empty difference between her rights and wrongs, then I know that I could stand alone as well as they, now that she's gone.
I love how the harmonica ends every verse.
Her face was crystal, fair and fine, and her breath was morning, and her lips were wine, and her eyes were laughter, and her touch divine, and her face was crystal, and she was mine.
He has a fantastic way of singing these kind of melancholy love songs of love and loss and wanting to love again. I was listening to the strings specifically here in this track, and they're so intricate in the way they move. There's at least two, but I'm wagering three back there, and all kind of put at slightly different volumes as well, so that there's a nice layering and a depth to be had when listening to it. And I was listening to what they're playing, and you know what it reminded me of a little bit is if you were to take like a music box and you let it play and ding 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 or whatever. If you were to take it and wind it so that it plays faster and you hear all those very crystalline notes fall into place a lot quicker, almost creating this kind of complex intricacy to it. That's kind of how I hear the strings back here. Like if you were to take that music box and wind it so that it's playing those notes faster, it plays like that because every single note is very pronounced in there, from the most subtle of them to the more louder and more upfront notes. But all of them are very pronounced and have a very light, delicate feel to it. But they're played, to me, either very fast, even though the music is not fast, but they're played somewhat fast, or because there's several different players, they're each kind of hitting the spaces of the other players so that it comes across kind of complex and kind of fast in a certain way. Like the notes are just like a waterfall, just a constant cascade. And I just think that that's a really cool, to me, technique in how it fills those spaces, but it doesn't overfill or over encumber in any way. I just think that was really lovely. The harmonica ending each of the verses is also really nice because I think that to a certain extent it kind of works with the lyrics and the way that the harmonica plays, because the harmonica does play similar notes as it continues on after each verse, but at the same time it's not exactly the same. So for example, her face was crystal fair and fine, and her breath was morning, her lips were wine. And no, I don't think this means she had morning breath. I think that this is like her breath was like the morning, full of opportunity, full of life, full of day and light. Her lips were wine, intoxicating, and her eyes were laughter, and her touch divine, and her face was crystal, and she was mine. Harmonica comes in after. and it's happy. It feels bright. You know, it feels like there's a pulse to it of life and love and feeling and emotion. If only she could feel my pain, but feeling is a burden she can't sustain. So like a summer Thursday, I cry for rain to come and turn the green or the ground green again. When the harmonica comes, to me it kind of plays hopeful. And in the same way that Towns is singing hopeful, he wants it to come around and, you know, grow. He wants some sort of progress and growth, turning the ground to green again, making it fertile. So that's their love and their relationship can move forward and grow from there. If only she could hear my songs about the empty difference between the rights and wrongs, then I know that I could stand alone as well as they now that she's gone. So now there's a sadness that begins to creep into the harmonica here, and naturally into Towns' voice as he sings each of these verses. And of course he repeats, her face was crystal fair and fine, and her breath was morning, her lips were wine, and her eyes were laughter, and her touch divine, and her face was crystal, and she was mine. And all of this, of course, is spoken and sung in past tense, betraying that she ain't here no more. I think that's really good. I love the kind of straightforward poetic way of describing things, sharing feelings and thoughts, and I think he's doing an amazing job doing such a thing. The title track of the album, Our Mother the Mountain. And can I just say, I haven't mentioned it, but I love the album title. I think that it is so, I don't know, implicative of nature and community. Our mother, who's us? I view it as, you know, either the people local to where a town's at and the mountain literally being there, or it could be all of mankind. The mountain maybe not representing literally a mountain, could be something bigger, deity, God, anything like that, or just earth. It could be life. Our mother, Mother Earth, and our mother, the mountain. I just think that's a cool kind of implicative title. Here we go.
My lover comes to me with a rose on her bosom. The moon's dancing purple all through her black hair. And her ladies in waiting, she'll stand 'neath my window, and the sun will rise soon on the false and the fair. Sing a tune,
Kind of a more folk kind of sound.
Tells me she comes from my mother, the mountain, and her skin fits her tightly, and her lips do not lie. She silently slips from her throat a medallion. Slowly she twirls it in front of my eye. Sing it to Lurelio. I watch her, I love her, and I long for to touch her. The satin she's wearing is shimmer and blue. And outside my window, her ladies are sleeping. My dogs are gone hunting, their howling is through. Sing it to Lurelio.
God, I love the way he sings the name Lurelio.
So I reach for her hand, and her eyes turn to poison, and her hair turns to splinters, and her flesh turns to brine. She leaps across the room, she stands in the window, and screams that my firstborn will surely be blind.
You're cursed.
Sing it to Lurelio.
Great job.
Then she throws herself out to the black of the nightfall. She's parted her lips, but she makes not a sound. I fly down the stairway and I run to the garden. No trace of my true love is there to be found. sing it to a Lorelei.
Sings a little bit different there.
So walk these hills lightly and watch who you're loving. By our mother, the mountain, I swear that it's true. And love not a woman with hair black as midnight and a dress made of satin all shimmer and blue. Sing it to
I love the way he says that note.
Lorelei, oh.
Dips into that very nicely.
Oh, my lover comes to me with a rose on her bosom. The moon's dancing purple all through her black hair. And her ladies in waiting, she'll stand 'neath my window. And the sun will rise soon on the false and the fair.
I love when Towns kind of moves into something like this, which is a lot more folky. I like the more countryside as well from him, but this is kind of like this just works with me. This is bread and butter. This kind of reminds me of like a folk song in the same way that like Pentangle would approach, in that the lyrics repeats in the same manner. There's not really any variations in the music. It repeats verse to verse in the similar melody. Very similar melody as it goes. You have the flute included here once again, which is just wonderful because it just sounds like this haunting, willowy wind that accents all of the kind of haunting verses and the way that Towns sings about Lorelei. Like, I love every way he ends it. I love the little dip he adds in his notes right before he says Lorelei. It's just, once again, a brilliant hypnotic piece of music, piece of folk from here. And I have to look it up, Lorelei, because I know that it relates to mythology in some capacity, but I do not remember off the top of my head who she is or who she may be referring to. So we'll have to look that up. But I think that this is a mesmerizing piece of folk, a mesmerizing piece of mountainous folk and mountainous music that wraps you around its proverbial finger and just spins you a yarn and tells you a tale. And the way that he delivers it, the flutes, the guitar, all of it comes across in a very lovely, mystical kind of package. So let's go ahead and first I'm gonna Google Lorelei. It's a steep slate rock on the Rhine River. Here we go, some folklore to it. Let's see. It has been an infamous fluvial disaster site since its first register in the 10th century, with a varied mythos ranging from dwarfs to a siren trying to explain the high number of shipwrecks and loud echo in the passage. Let's see, folklore, here we go. Maybe this is what we're looking for. Here we go. The siren of Germanic mythology, of great beauty and delicious song, who was placed on a rock on the Rhine, and with her song seduced the navigators. I gotcha. Lorelei character. In the poem, the beautiful Lorelei, betrayed by her sweetheart, is accused of bewitching men and causing their death. Rather than sentence her to death, the bishop consigns her to a nunnery. On the way thereto, accompanied by 3 knights, she comes across, to Lorelei Rock. She asks permission to climb in and view the Rhine once again. She does so, and thinking that she sees her love in the Rhine, falls to her death. The rock ever afterward retaining the echo of her name. I love mythology, man. I love mythology. My lover comes to me with a rose on her bosom. The moon is dancing purple all through her black hair. And her ladies in waiting shall stand neath my window, and the sun will rise soon on the false and the fair. Sing to Lorelei. She tells me she comes from my mother the mountain, and her skin fits her tightly, and her lips do not lie. She silently slips from her throat a medallion. Slowly she twirls it in front of my eyes. I watch her, I love her, and I long for to touch her. The satin she's wearing is shimmering blue. This is definitely a siren. And outside my window, her ladies are sleeping. My dogs are gone hunting. The howling is through. Saying, we're all alone now, baby. So I reach for her hand, and her eyes turn to poison. And her hair turns to splinters, and her flesh turns to brine. She leaps across the room. She stands in the window, screams that my firstborn will surely be blind. sing to a Lorelei. Yeah, you got cursed by the siren girl or guy. So as she throws herself out to the black of the nightfall, she parted her lips, but she makes not a sound. I fly down the stairway, I run to the garden, no trace of my true love is there to be found. So walk these hills lightly and watch who you're loving. My mother the mountain, I swear that is true. And love not a woman with black hair as midnight, and her dress made of satin all shimmering blue. This is really taking that folktale, right? This is the cautionary folktale. So be careful when you're in these hills, because if you hear her song, if you see, her hair shimmering black and satin of shimmering blue, don't go near her. My lover comes to me with a rose on her bosom, the moon's dancing purple all through her black hair, and her lady's in wait, and she'll stand neath my window, and the sun will rise soon on the false and the fair. And so is the curse over Lorelei. That's a good one. I like that a lot. Let's go ahead and move on to the next track, which is going to end this particular side of the album. And that's going to be Second Lover's Song.
You're waking next to me. Tears splash across the sun. You whisper soft to me, but I ain't the only one to breathe your yellow hair, caress your bosom fair. Do you think I really care? Do you think it matters?
Not at all.
What do your feelings mean? Do you think I'd love you more if you stood pure and clean? Of those you'd known before, would your words be sweeter then upon November's wind? If you began again, could your smile be softer? Would your eyes more brightly shine? Would your laughter be so tender? If you'd been only mine for as long as you remember. I don't want tears from you. Don't build your love on shame. All that we've done is through, and all we can do remains. My lady, can't you see? I love not jealously, but for all you are to me, and all you'll be tomorrow.
I really love these songs in which you get all the orchestral elements, those strings, the flute, once again, a little sprinkling of piano to accent it all. Once again, that wonderful sway of it, and the way, like, near the ending of the lines, it kind of goes down a little bit. Bum, 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 bum. Oh, hit my microphone. Like, he just dips into the deeper, enriching veins down there and then brings it back up a little bit. The flute is fluttering. The strings are magically enchanted. It's just really wonderful when his voice is accented with those elements because, like I said, it really reminds me of Scott Walker, and I love Scott Walker, so, it's kind of bringing me into that specific fold. And I think it's just a really great track. And I love the lyrics as well. So what if I'm not your first? Listen, baby, I don't care. What does that mean anything to me? We're enjoying ourselves just fine. And I think that this is a really nice way to end this side of the album as well. It's the shortest track on the album as a whole. And it's just like after the epic of the title track, this is kind of like a little bit of closure for this particular side, for this particular half. It brings you down easy, brings you down richly, and then there's still more to come after. And I think that's really wonderfully done. It's getting hot in the room again. Keeps getting hot, then it gets cold. You waken next to me, tears splash across the sun. You whisper soft to me that I ain't the only one to breathe your yellow hair, caress your bosom fair. Do you think I really care? Do you think it matters? Not at all. What do your feelings mean? Do you think I'd love you more if you stood pure and clean, of those you'd known before? Would your words be sweeter than upon November's wind? If you began again, could your smile be softer? No, he's saying you're perfect just the way you are. Would your eyes more brightly shine? Would your laughter be so tender? If you'd been only mine for as long as you remember. I don't want tears from you. Don't build your love on shame. All what we've done is through, and all we do remains. My lady, can't you see? I love not jealousy, but for all you are to me, and all you'll be tomorrow. He said, all you'll be now and later tomorrow with me. We ain't worrying about the past. We don't look back. We're worrying about the here, the now, and maybe a little bit of later. Let's go ahead and move on into the second side of the album. I hope that you guys are enjoying it so far. I hope that you guys are having a good time and listening to it. This is cool. Like, you know, from what I kind of like saw on the RYM page and the artists that you guys had associated Towns with, as I was looking at the comments and, you know, getting suggestions from him, I kind of got a basic idea of what kind of music he'd be performing, but this is exceeding what I expected. So this is really cool. I'm really enjoying it. Let's go and move on to the next side here, which is going to start off with St. John the Gambler. Throw it all on black.
When she had 20 years, well, she turned to her mother, saying, Mother, I know that you'll grieve, but I've given my soul to St. John the Gambler. Tomorrow comes time to leave, for the hills cannot hold back my sorrow forever, and dead men lie deep round the door of the only salvation that's mine for the asking. So mother, think on me no more.
This deep, deep sadnesses.
And winter howled high round the mountain's breast, in the cold of 1,000 snows lay heaped upon the forest sleep, but she dressed in calico. For a gambler likes his women fancy she would be, and the fire of her longing would keep away the cold, and her dress was a sight to see. But the road was long beneath her feet. She followed
Spring of harmonica.
frozen breath in search of a certain St. John the Gambler, stumbling to her death. She heard his laughter right down from the mountains, and danced with her mother's tears to a funeral drone or calico neath the cross of 20 years. To a funeral drone of calico neath the cross of 20 years.
I mean, this track, not only perhaps lyrically, but definitely musically, just has a deep sadness and a depressive nature to it. And even as he mentions the funeral drone at the end, I mean, to me, it really does sound like this kind of funeral march, the way that it's paced, the way that the strings play incredibly sad, not just guitar, but the orchestral strings, which so gently rise, almost like the last breath, the last rites being read at the very end before it concludes. And then you have that little spring, that little little, to me, unexpected string of harmonica that pops up at one point that almost sings a farewell tale, a farewell song as we kind of wave goodbye. To me, when I hear harmonica, a lot of the times, the imagery that I have in my mind is someone wandering, playing their harmonica, and where are they going? Who knows? They're just wandering, they're leaving somewhere, and they're departing. And so here, as the tale follows, in a sense, moments of death and such, I feel like that is the departure from something and to an eventual conclusion. And the way the music wraps itself around that is just really brilliant. And like I said, I'm loving the tracks that especially have those little bits of strings and orchestral sides come in. And so when it's done like this, just so subtle and sublime, I think that it works incredibly well. And it makes it much more emotional, just like a gentle padding that enriches the song. When she had 20 years, she turned to her mother, saying, "Mother, I know that you'll grieve, but I've given my soul to St. John the Gambler. Tomorrow comes time to leave, for the hills cannot hold back my sorrow forever. And dead men lie deep round the door of the only salvation that's mine for the asking. So, mother, think of me no more." So she's leaving, right? There's that departure that I mentioned. She says she's given her soul to St. John the Gambler. I don't know if there is a St. John the Gambler. I would assume not, but what do I know? But she's leaving. Now, does it mean in a sense maybe she has a debt to be paid and she has to leave to pay this debt? And this debt is being paid with her life, basically. That's how I read that. And winter held high around the mountain's breast, and the cold of 1,000 snows lay heaped upon the forest. But she dressed in calico, for a gambler likes his women fancy. Right? I think that in a sense, in some capacity, she had to, for lack of a better word, pay the debt with herself. And fancy she would be, and the fire of her longing would keep away the cold, and her dress was a sight to see. But the road was long beneath her feet. She followed her frozen breath in search of a certain St. John the Gambler, stumbling to her death. She heard his laughter right down from the mountains and danced with her mother's tears to a funeral drone of calico neath a cross of 20 years. So obviously she died here, seemingly on her journey, because the road was long beneath her feet. She died on the way. But I feel like there's a deeper story behind it. Let me click on some of these annotations. Rather than saying she was 20 years old, Van Zandt opted for the phrase suggesting she's merely existed and tolerated being alive her entire life with no joy whatsoever. We don't actually know who St. John the Gambler is, but I assume it's a foil to St. John the Baptist. Rather than being a holy figure, we can assume that the gambler represents evil or a trickster figure. We can consider gambling as a vice or a game of chance. The nature of this figure is also hinted at by giving her soul. No holy figure would ask or accept for such a thing. Okay. Many have failed before her in this gambit with St. John to cure their depression. I mean, I don't, those are just annotations. Who knows what it actually means? I can definitely see, like, she says, I've given my soul to St. John the Gambler. I have to take this journey. And you know what? And because it's St. John the Gambler, there's no telling you'll actually win in the end. And in this case, she gambled with her life and she died on the journey, not even making her destination or where she was heading. So maybe in a sense, the gamble represents something else, a holy gamble of sorts, or maybe an unholy gamble of sorts, in search of a certain St. John the Gambler. Maybe the search was the gamble, and in this case, she lost. Let's move on to the next track, which is Tecumseh Valley, which, like I said, this is the track that a lot of you guys had mentioned in the comments and suggested that I had saw. So let's go ahead and listen to this one. Here we go.
The name she gave was Caroline, the daughter of a miner, and her ways were free, and it seemed to me sunshine walked beside her. She come from Spencer, across the hill. She said her pa had sent her because the cold was low, and soon the snow would turn the skies to winter.
It does play like a...
She said she'd come to look for work. She was not seeking favors, and for a dime a day and a place to stay, she'd turn those hands to labor. But the times were hard, Lord, jobs were few. All through Tecumseh Valley, but she asked around, and a job she found, tending bar for Gypsy Sally. Saved enough to get back home when spring replaced the winter, but her dreams were denied. Her pa had died. The word come down from Spencer. She turned to whoring out on the streets with all the lust inside her, and it was many a man returned again to lay himself beside her. Found her down beneath the stairs that led to Gypsy Sally's, and in her hand when she died was a note that cried, "Fare thee well, Tecumseh Valley." Name she gave was Caroline, the daughter of a miner, and her ways were free, and it seemed to me the sunshine.
I love a track that takes a story, like a linear story. You know, we're following this particular person, this particular character. We follow this story, but then it also expands it and ties it to a specific place, ties it to a specific like location. Obviously here with Tecumseh Valley, and you know, kind of what happens there or who comes from there and the stories of the people there, whether sad or happy. And I really like the way that that's done here. And the music is so introspective and calm, stately, just kind of a backing page to the narrative written on that page. That's actually exactly what it is. The page itself that these words are written upon is that musical background. And then the words put down is the main focus. That's the story. I love the way, once again, that harmonica comes through because, like I mentioned before, it just reminds me of departures and journeys. This is clearly a departure, clearly a journey, and clearly a even stronger departure at the very end. So, like, it holds this sadness in the music as it goes on. And there's these moments where you hope that it's going to make a turn. You hope that it's going to be better. You hope that it's going to turn to a brighter phase, and it never does. It actually ends quite darkly. The name she gave was Caroline. So not even her name, not even her real name, but the name she gave was Caroline, the daughter of a miner, and her ways were free, and it seemed to me that sunshine walked beside her. Okay, so far so good. She come from Spencer across the hill. She said her pa had sent her, 'cause the cold was low and soon the snow would turn the skies to winter. She said she'd come to look for work. She was not seeking favors, and for a dime a day and a place to stay, she'd turn those hands to labor. Just a girl coming to work. Pa had sent her just to earn some extra cash, and honestly, so far so good. Okay. But the times were hard, Lord. The jobs were few, all through Tecumseh Valley. But she asked around, and a job she found, tending bar for Gypsy Sally. Okay, maybe it's not what you wanted, but you found a job bartending. Okay, fine. She saved enough to get back home when spring replaced the winter. Great. But her dreams were denied. Her pa had died. The word come down from Spencer. So now where does she go? So she turned a horn out to the streets with all the lust inside her, and it was many a man to return again to lay himself beside her. So definitely not the ending or the destination that she was expecting, and I would imagine she did not want to do this. She just had no other choice, it seemed. They found her down beneath the stairs that led to Gypsy Sally's, and in her hand when she died was a note that cried, "Fare thee well, Tecumseh Valley." The name she gave was Caroline, the daughter of a miner, and her ways were free, and it seemed to me that sunshine walked beside her. And I love the way that the last stanza there reiterates the beginning, in which this is just a downhill story, right? But I like the realistic, poignant way that those that stanza's repeated here at the end. She had sunshine beside her. There was something special about her. She was looking to help her father, like all good things. And so kind of asking that question, why did something so horrible have to happen to someone so bright and with such a bright future that sunshine walked beside her with a great disposition and such, you know? I really like the kind of hard-hitting way that last line wraps that up and bookends it. You know, you have these two bookending stanzas that are exactly the same, that are positive in connotation, but then a meat of a story with a depressing ending, and how the bookending, while the same words, in context means something so different and so deep. Really, really fantastic writing there. Let's move on to the next track, which is Snake Mountain Blues. Sounds like it already.
Mr. $10 man, let me tell where you're bound. Drink your green liquor, Lord, you roll to the ground. But you come around here with your money in your hand. Taste of my woman. Hey, where you die, where you stand.
Draw.
Well, Snake Mountain Blues, they got me down low. I could die in the morning, but no one would know. Well, my woman come around, my body she'd find. Go down to Dundee, have her a time.
This sounds like a standoff.
Snake Mountain's gonna crumble, Lord, and fall from the sky. For that woman of mine stops telling her lies. Well, if I die, Lord, she'd weep and she'd mourn. Soon as I was buried, forget I'd been born. Love a black-skinned woman, she won't do you no wrong. Slow to start moaning, she don't moan for long. Oh, a yellow-headed woman brings nothing but pain. Takes all you give her, where she leaves only shame. Oh, my daddy, Lord, he rides on a long holy train. First winds of winter, I'll see him again. Then it's farewell to this yellow-headed misery I've known. Snake Mountain's calling, calling me home.
I love when that guitar does that.
Well, the Snake Mountain Blues got me down low.
Hey.
I could die in the morning, ain't no one would know. Oh, my woman come around, my body she'd find. Go down to Dundee, have her a time.
For such a short track, that one has like the most like rock kind of energy to it. I mean, that one to me, because you couldn't see me, but I'm tapping my foot to that one because that strong beat, that strong backbone, that strong rhythm, that catchiness, like, and the way that, you know, Towns just sings on top of that with, I mean, it's called Snake Mountain Blues, but there's a little bit of a venomous bite to it, a little bit of a bittersweet sound to the way he sings. And then here he goes into a higher note for a very brief note. Just for a brief moment, which is so interesting because he has never on this album so far sung in anywhere near that range. So it's just really interesting how he just pushed for a brief moment and then brought it right back down. You're like, oh, that was kind of a surprise here at this point. I love the kind of aggression that's noted in the guitar sound. And like I said, that stomp of the beat and that stomp of the rhythm there. I love that time where, or the part where the guitar does that repetitive line. That it's almost like it's a record that's like stuck on repeat and just scratching. It's just repeating that one moment again and again. And it kind of adds this sense of stress and tension to the music, of which this is kind of a tense song. No doubt about it. Even the harmonica gets down on it for a little bit. Like everyone's just playing with a little bit more fire in their belly and a fire to their feet, so to speak here. Like they're in a rush before they get burned. Mr. $10 man, let me tell you where you're bound. Let me tell you where you're going. Drink your green liquor, Lord, you will roll to the ground. But you come around here with your money in your hand, taste of my woman, well, you'll die where you stand. This is like he's confronting this person that's just sitting at the bar, drinking their drink, and he's been hunting them down. This is classic Western now. Those Snake Mountain Blues, they got me down low. I could die in the morning, but no one would know. Will my woman come around, my body she'd find. Go down to Dundee, have her a time. Snake Mountain's gonna crumble, Lord, and fall from the sky, for that woman of mine stops telling her lies. Well, if I die, Lord, she'd weep and she'd mourn. Soon as I was buried, forget I've been born. Says she's nothing but trouble. Although a black-skinned woman, she won't do you no wrong. Slow to start moaning, she don't moan for long. A yellow-headed woman brings nothing but pain. Takes all you give her, while she leaves only shame. Saying, listen, there's good and bad, I guess, everywhere, huh? Ah, my daddy, Lord, he rides on a long holy train. First winds of winter. Isn't George R.R. Martin supposed to be writing that book? I'll see him again. And as farewell to this yellow-headed misery I've known, Snake Mountain's calling me home. Well, the Snake Mountain Blues got me down low. I could die in the morning, no one would know. My woman come around, my body she'd find. Go down to Dundee, have her time. She'd go and celebrate that you are gone. He's saying Snake Mountain's calling me home. Snake, animal perhaps noted of betrayal and sneakiness and slyness. And maybe that's what he's feeling from his woman. A little sneakiness, a little slyness. That's a good one. Let's move on to the next track, My Proud Mountains. I also really like, obviously the track or the album is called My Mother the Mountain or Our Mother the Mountain. I like how it actually feels like we're in the mountains, not just musically, but with the constant references as well.
My home is Colorado, with her proud mountains tall, where the rivers like gypsies down her black canyons fall. Well, I'm a long, long way from Denver, with a long way to go. So lend an ear to my singing, 'cause I'll be back no more. Well, I left as a young man, not full 17, with nothing for company but the wind and a dream about all the fast ladies and living I'd find when I left my proud mountains and rivers behind.
It seems like just an extremely heartfelt track on this one.
So I roll and I ramble like a leaf in the wind. Well, I found my fast ladies and some hard living men. Well, I sometimes went hungry with my pockets all bare. Lord, I sometimes had good luck with money to spare. Well, I made me some friends, Lord, that I won't soon forget. Well, some are down under and some are rambling yet. But as for me, well, I'm headed for home, back to high Colorado, never more for to roam. So friends, when my time comes, as surely it will, you just carry my body out to some lonesome hill.
That's all he wants.
And lay me down easy where the cool rivers run, with only my mountains between me and the sun. Yeah, my home is Colorado.
I mean, this feels like the most personal song on the album to me. This is strictly about his love of his home, you know, the pain he feels when he leaves, and the honor that he pays it, the love that he pays his home in Colorado. And, you know, he's far away, he misses it. But even musically, it's very simple and straightforward. It's unadorned. There's no embellishments of flutes and strings or piano or... No. It's just Townes, his guitar, his words, and his feelings. And that's absolutely more than enough. And especially when I'm thinking of the track listing and how every single song here has moved, this feels like a really nice before the last track. This feels like it's setting you up for the conclusion. This is that emotional, he's kind of bearing his heart and, you know, being vulnerable, and just no poetry, no woman problems, no relationship problems, just me and my home. That's it. Just nostalgia, toned and dripped. And I think that it's really an honest look. And I think a lot of people can relate. I know I can relate. Maybe if you've moved away from your childhood home or a place that you love and you think about it fondly, I could see this track playing. Think about it like this. If let's just pretend that your place was Colorado, just like it was for Townes. I could see him driving away from Colorado to wherever he's going. And he looks in his rearview mirrors and he sees the mountains. He sees his town getting more distant, more distant, more distant till it's completely out of view and gone. And then there's that separation and you're moving on. And the song kind of plays to that kind of tugging of a heartstring, to that kind of, that's where you belonged. Where do you go now? And I think that it's a really solemn but honest track from him. I really enjoy how he performed this one. My home is Colorado with her proud mountains tall, where the rivers like gypsies down her black canyons fall. Well, I'm a long, long way from Denver with a long way to go. So lend an ear to my singing, 'cause I'll be back no more. Right? Like, he just asked us just to listen, 'cause he won't be there anymore. I left as a young man, may not full 17, with nothing for company but the wind and a dream about all the fast ladies and living I'd find when I'd left my proud mountains and rivers behind. So I rolled and rambled like a leaf in the wind, while I found my fast ladies and some hard-living men. Well, I sometimes went hungry and my pockets all bare. Lord, I sometimes had good luck with money to spare. There were good times, there were bad. Well, I made me some friends, Lord, that I won't soon forget. Some are down under and some are rambling yet. But as for me, well, I'm headed for home. Back to high Colorado, never more for to roam. So friends, when my time comes, as surely it will, you just carry my body out to some old lonesome hill and lay me down easy where the cool rivers run, with only my mountains between me and the sun. Yeah, my home is Colorado. I love the beauty of it, that he is coming back. And if you'll indulge me, I do not know, is Townes still alive, or is he? Okay, he did pass away. Where is he buried? Is he buried in Colorado? Let's see. 2 services were held, one in Texas for family. Some of his ashes were placed underneath a headstone in the Van Zandt family plot at Dido Cemetery in Texas near Fort Worth. Okay, so at least from this little blurb, it does not look like it. But he must have been born there at least, though. Born in Texas, okay, and died in Tennessee. So maybe he just really felt like Colorado was like his place. Let's see. In 1958, the family moved to Boulder, Colorado. Van Zandt remembered his time in Colorado fondly and often visited as an adult. He later referred to it as My Proud Mountains. Okay, as we mentioned, of course, in the songs. Townes was a good student in terms of Okay, so he moved there when he was young and just has very fond memories of Colorado. Interesting that he wasn't buried. I mean, of course, a lot could have happened in his life between the writing of this track and his death. So maybe there's, a reason as such. Who knows? But I do really like the adoring way that he sings about his home. Let's move on into the final track of the album, Why She's Acting This Way. Not why's she's acting this way, but why she's acting this way. There's a difference.
Like silence she stands,
There's your organ.
like laughter she falls from a castle of sand, like a memory she calls. And the mockingbirds grieve, 'cause they can't make her cry. And they'll soon start to bleed that the lady has died. Oh, what it all goes to show,
I like how the bass bubbles.
it ain't my job to say, for who am I to know why she's acting this way? I'll once again turn away if you're sure that it's done. Tell your prophets to pray, tell your bandits to run. Take your eyelids of stone, they won't do you no harm. Take your cross made of bones, take your fly paper arms, and when everything's placed in your coffin of gold, throw a scarf round your face, 'cause the subway gets cold. Pack up your sunflower smile,
There you go.
and your bandana blues. Take your worthless denials, they're all you've got left to lose. Take your Tinkerbell lies and your weary desires.
It's a cool little kind of synthy sound here, huh?
Take the tears in your eyes, take your cup full of fire. Or give your lover a call if your legs start to fail, and he'll come break your fall with a bed full of nails.
Love how the organ plays in this track.
No need to glance back again, there ain't nothing to see, just this drunken old man and this woman and me. And you've made it quite plain that we're just wasting time. And you say it seems strange that I'm staying behind, but don't you worry about
I
me,
love the bass bubbles like that.
I can make it alone, 'cause I got no place to be, and I ain't far from home.
And ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. The ending, the full album reaction, Our Mother, The Mountain Towns, Van Zandt. And actually, this kind of continues really nicely off of My Proud Mountains, and it actually just continues this very conclusive, very bare bones kind of nature of music. Not too much accoutrement. More on this one than the previous track, with that little bit of organ seeping in, just an underlying underbelly of kind of holy finality. Makes you think of that, and the way that it ends here, and breathing a little hopeful as well. To me, it sounds like kind of just as the previous track with My Private Mountains. He left. There was a sadness there, and then he came back. So there's a hope. This track kind of feels very similar in that there's a leaving, there's a coming back, there's sadness, there's melancholy, there's nostalgia, there's return, there's hope, and maybe there's happiness at the end. And this track, once again, kind of plays in a much more, in a very simple way, very straightforward. There's no more orchestras, no more strings, no guitar, towns, some organ, and make the most of it what you will. And he does make the most of it. Like silence, she stands. Like laughter, she falls. From a castle of sand, like a memory she calls. And the mockingbirds grieve 'cause they can't make her cry. They'll soon start to believe that the lady has died. Oh, what it all goes to show, it ain't my job to say, for who am I to know why she's acting this way? It's not up to him or for him to understand her in this particular point. Oh, once again, turn away. If you're sure that it's done, tell your prophets to pray, tell your bandits to run. Take your eyelids of stone, they won't do you no harm. And take your cross made of bones, take your fly paper arms. And when everything's placed in your coffin of gold, throw a scarf around your face because the subway gets cold. That's such a great line at the very end of all this. All this, and he says, after you get all that taken care of, don't forget to put a scarf around you because the subway gets cold. Pack up your sunflower smile and your bandana blues. Take your worthless denials. They're all you've got left to lose. Take your Tinkerbell lies and your worried desires. Take the tears in your eyes. Take your cup full of fire. Give your lover a call if your legs start to fail, and he'll come break your fall with a bed full of nails. Ooh, not a good way to fall. No need to glance back. There ain't nothing to see. Just this drunken old man and this woman and me. You've made it quite plain that we're just wasting time, and you say it seems strange that I'm staying behind. But don't you worry about me. I can make it alone, 'cause I got no place to be, and I ain't far from home. I think that this last stanza for the whole album, and of course this track, is kind of, to me, perhaps, I don't know anything about towns, but symbolic of perhaps more than just this relationship that's spoken about in the lyrics here. I feel like this could be very much more telling him himself, autobiographical in a sense. I feel like he's revealing something about himself here. Others have gone, left him, moved on, and they look back on him and say, hey, don't you want to also move on or progress or whatever it may be? And he says, no, I'm okay. I got this. And he says, I can make it alone. I'm independent. I'm okay. And then he also says, I've got no place to be, which I view in a few ways. One, I got no place to be, so I have all the time in the world. Or I got no place to be. I have no place to, in a sense, plant my roots. I'm kind of wandering right now. I'm not sure where I want to be. And then also, I ain't far from home. But he's never so far away from home that he can't come back. Or home is where the heart is, and he's always near home because he makes his own home. I view that final statement, I think you can kind of view that in many, many, many ways, and all of them work, I think, quite well. Let's look at some of the information for this particular album. It says it's considered to be one of his greatest recordings and features some of his best known works. The basic tracks were recorded in LA with overdubs recorded in Nashville, produced by Jack Clement. Let's see. You have a lot of session musicians, of course, on here. Tecumseh Valley, which had appeared on the singer's debut album, was re-recorded for Our Mother the Mountain as a result of Van Zandt's dissatisfaction with the garish production employed on For the Sake of the Song. Although the tracks on this album were sweetened in Nashville, there was a somewhat simpler, light-handed approach taken production-wise on his follow-up LP. It did not sell in great numbers, but reinforced his reputation as a songwriter. Your favorite artist, right? Let's see. In 2004, biopic Be Here to Love Me, musician Joe Ellie recalls first hearing the album after Van Zandt had given him a copy when they crossed paths, when Ellie picked the singer up hitchhiking back to Houston from San Fran. Zandt was carrying only his guitar in a backpack stuffed with records, and as a means of thanking Ellie, gave him a brand new copy of the album. I'd never met anybody who'd actually recorded an album before, he remembered, and I take the record back to Jimmy Gilmore. We put it on, and we're just mesmerized by it. Ends up we play that record over and over for weeks. That is such an amazing tale. It made us rethink what we were doing and what a song was all about. John Kroof describes the title track as otherworldly. Like the best of Van Zandt's dark sagas, this tale of a bewitched lover is a minor key waltz that limps along like foreboding steps approaching in the hall. It's a good one for sure. So on and so forth. Of course, it says it features an arresting shot of Van Zandt taken by Alan Vogel. The album cover was about provoking people's interest to get them to ask, what the hell is that? Either they got it or they don't. I mean, sure, it's his face. I don't think it's, that, unless I'm missing something about it. If they got it or they don't. If they didn't know who Towns was, his name wouldn't mean anything if they were compelled to buy it. Okay. And it goes on from there. Favorite tracks on the album, which this was a really, really nice album. I like to give it another listen, just in my own free time. Probably will do so this upcoming week. I usually do, I mentioned it before, but I usually do that with albums I listen here. I'll give it another casual listen on my own just to kind of give it like, a casual listen, like just ride my bike, in the car, wherever. Favorite tracks, I loved Kathleen. I gotta give a hand to Our Mother the Mountain as well. Those would easily be my two favorite tracks on the album. Maybe include Snake Mountain Blues in there, just because I love that stomp, that hearty stomp from it. But I think those three tracks would be my favorite as of right now. Kathleen, Our Mother the Mountain, and then Snake Mountain Blues. So I genuinely hope that you guys enjoyed listening to the album with me, and I hope that you enjoyed the video. I really enjoy doing full albums. I try to make time where I can. So far, I've been pretty good. I've been pretty good on keeping up with the Long Song Saturday. And I just hope that you guys have enjoyed doing that with me. Obviously we do song by song by song during the week and such, but it's nice to actually sit down and enjoy a piece of work as a whole, as it's, of course, originally intended. And I really enjoy doing it, and hope that you guys enjoy doing it alongside with me. Buy Me a Coffee's there. If you'd like to sponsor song requests and such, Patreon, of course, once again, $2 a month. It goes a long way and helps me have more time to do stuff like this. So, of course, you can support me over there. And if not, that is not a problem at all. Just press the like button if you don't mind. Share the video if you're so inclined. If you think someone else might enjoy the video as well. But I hope that you guys have enjoyed this. This was a nice first introduction to Townes Van Zandt and his music. And I hope that you guys got something out of it as well. I appreciate you all being here. Please come on back tomorrow. Don't make yourself a stranger. Make yourself a friend. And I will see you all later. Bye, guys.